Today you find us at Mass Hip Hop Archive, piecing together the pieces, which is a show about how do we fill in the gaps of all the missing pieces within the archive, and also within the missing pieces and the gaps, historical cultural gaps that exist within the archive, and more importantly within Boston's hip hop history.
Right, true that. But I started hip hop back in 1981. Started out really like locking. That was my first love right there. Watching Michael Jackson and James Brown. That's what got me really started dancing. And from there I went on to music. That's when I was a gangster. And I met Vaughn, who was really like a he put something into me, you know what I'm saying, I had it, but he brought it out of me, you know what I'm saying, when it came to dancing, This right here, man, is the best thing that happened to me in dancing. This man here, oh man, I can't call it what it is. It is what I get. Much respect.
So early on, I started in 1979, 1980. I was definitely someone who was watching a lot of Soul Train every Saturday.
Oh, definitely.
So Shabba-Doo,
that's funny.
was it Shalimar, Jody Watley, and Howard Hewitt, and
what's the other kid's name?
And what's his name, Daniel. So that's where I really got like a lot of my inspiration. Like if those kids from Cali could do it, I could do it. And at that time, I'd had a group, a poppin' and waving group called Masterwork, which was a group of all nations, which was 5 guys and 5 women. And we would always dance against the Funk Effects, and you'd see us at Boston, the Hollywood Talent Night. And then after that, I formed the Unique Dominoes, which became one of Boston's premier breakdance groups. And during that time, I met this young man. We were both inspired by a woman from our neighborhood, which I want to give a shout out and respect to, Queen Veronica Poindexter. She was one of the first people that you ever saw in Boston do the moonwalk. She was on Zoom, and she lived in Academy Homes. So
funny you said that, because she taught me how to dance. You know what I'm saying? She taught me everything I know besides the locket when it came to popping. And I went back to her 3 weeks later, and she was amazed at what I can do. You know what I'm saying? So I met this man, and it even made me better. Yes, but definitely. As far as groups, I was in Abadoos. We took the name from what was that group? Shabba-Doo. And we called ourselves the Abadoos. Right. You know what I'm saying? From the Abadoos, then I went to Masterwork. Right. Yes.
And so we're here today, as we already talked about the Mass Hip Hop Archive. This was kind of funny. Back in the day, there was a professor over at UMass Boston named Reby Garofalo. And Reby Garofalo. And Reby did something really amazing. He opened up the business, the building, which was then called UMass Boston Campus, because they had the Boston campus, which was in Park Square, and then they had the Harbor campus, which was downtown Boston. So we used to practice on the 3rd floor of UMass Boston's Boston campus, downtown Boston. And that's how we ended up going into the archive and being at UMass Boston in the Kennedy Library archive. And when Pacey Foster, who started the UMass Hip Hop Archive, went to school at UMass Boston, he found the archive and was like, yo, what is this? Who are these people? What is this thing? Yes. And he found us. And then he went out into the community and looked for us. And this is really how the archive started. And I talked about it on the panel. But this is how it started. If you look at one of those videos, you'll see this very historic battle, or really historic dance take place. It's all a bunch of Boston crews, Spin City Rockers, Unique Dominoes, the Floor Lords, and it takes place in this big vacant lot full of rubble, and you can see part of the Boston skyline behind us. But that site that we're standing in is the ground which has become to this day the Reggie Lewis Track and Field Center. And if you look beside the Reggie Lewis Track and Field Center, with the exception of the Whittier Street Health Center, which a new one has been built, that whole entire area is still the same today. It's just vacant land. It's part of Roxbury that they just left underdeveloped, and it's still undeveloped to this day. Right now we have places like Emerson and Northeastern and other people fighting for that land. But when you look at that video, that's where it took place. So it's very important to talk about the history of hip hop and then also the values of the city of Boston around allowing for that level of disinvestment, a divestment to never be in Boston. So there we go. So,
And that's you know how serious we was about our hip hop. This is like we had cards. You know what I'm saying? It was real. You know, just to let you know, we had cards. We opened up at Providence Civic Center. Major hip hop groups back in the days, back in the 80s, early 80s. Right. You know, so it was real.
You have any other questions for us today? All right. Well, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to capture us and to come to the UMass Hip Hop Archive event, June.
Thank you, man.
Niggas, I'm gonna show you do. So I can show these little niggas it's just the way we do. Chasing this money is just the way it is. Pushing the key every week or two. Life of a boss, that's where it's at.
He was Asian, white, Spanish, black, it did not matter. We was all in there for the same thing, and that was just to learn. You feel me? And I just feel like, one second,
But let me say something to you too.
Go ahead.
You know what you demonstrated to all of us when I skipped over this sister and gave you the mic, and you were respectful enough to give her the mic back? Do you understand?
Understand that?
You understand? Now think of the old you prior to you coming to a different understanding of yourself. Right? Now look at that. Small things like that.
Can I make a suggestion? Since
Yes,
you know,
sir.
I feel like y'all have a position that y'all have as far as the profession that y'all choose to do. I feel like, you know, y'all have the ability to actually bust that door open for a lot of us. And I feel like a lot of y'all are afraid to. No disrespect. It applies to who it applies to. There's brothers and sisters that are doing the same type of thing that you're doing, that are not afraid to do this. But you know, in the old days, our ancestors know that we was marching. We was doing that type of stuff. You feel what I'm saying? They don't hear us unless we really moving like that. You feel what I'm saying? This is all cool and all, but take a look around and we all here. But this ain't flooded me. That if that doesn't open anyone's eyes on that stage, and anyone here right now, then I'm telling you right now that y'all sleep, and I'm woke. Literally. And I have no education. I have a high school diploma, that's about it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like y'all having the profession that y'all have, being professors or whatnot, whatever it is that y'all do, I feel like y'all not need to. As a matter of fact, yeah, need to get the students because, what's your name again, sir? Yeah. So you had mentioned, you made a good point about people coming from all over the world to study in this city and all of that. That's the perfect opportunity to get different people, different races involved with the community. Not keeping us away from the community. Because how many people here is familiar with the Jim Crow law? I'm only 29 years old. You feel what I'm saying? This is old. The only thing is that back then, it was more out there. Now, it's more discreet. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because the dollar. Nobody want to war because when you war, ain't nobody making no money. If it ain't about the money, it make no sense. You see what I'm saying? Education should be free. That's one. Nobody should have to pay for education. Ever. When we came out the womb, we didn't have to pay for our mama to tell us what to do, what not to do. That was free. You feel what I'm saying? You go to elementary school, that's free, unless you got money to go for private school, but you know, Boston Public School, where we come from, all that's free. Why you gotta pay for college? Why you gotta pay for college? If knowledge is power, and everyone is on the same page, because we all live to die, don't forget. You could shoot each other, you could rob each other, you could do all that type of ish. We gonna live to die. So none of this stuff, all this that we got on, the jewelry, all that, let's not forget, brothers and sisters, that we are going to die one day. You can't take none of this to the grave. You feel what I'm saying? What you do have is your word. You feel what I'm saying? Your word. Me, I want to leave this word with a legacy. What's my legacy? My music. You want to know why? Because when I die, even if there's a bunch of haters in here that don't like my music, somewhere in the world, there's gonna be a bunch of people playing my music when I die. That's a legacy. You understand that? I don't care about no piece of land. You wanna why? Because when I die, I can leave that to whoever. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. You understand? My mom always told me that the world don't stop, it's the people that die.
So we appreciate you. And hey, one more.
What up, my man? What's going on, everybody? This is Willie Moore, aka MC Crazy. I'm at, as you can see, the Mass Hip Hop Archives. This is something incredible. There are so many OGs and so much talent in that room that if this place was to get locked down, it'd be a daggone shame. I had to come here, man. I've been in the hip hop all my life. It saved my life on many occasions. I'm trying to give back to it, and I think this is a small way. I mean, I got together with Yvette Wilkes. She mentioned this was going on, and we just had to get it together. Like I mentioned, I love hip hop. Hip hop is about love. When COVID struck and everybody was inside their room, rapping out of their closet, me, Yvette Wilkes got together, so let's put together the 6 Foot Cypher because we love hip hop. We didn't want it to be confined. We had a 6 foot distance and we was out there doing our thing. So I just want everybody to know that once again, Mass Hip Hop Archives is for the OGs. It's for the young ones coming up. There's some young folks in here too. It's for the young ones coming up. So yo, let's just keep this going. Let's just keep this positive energy going. And I love it, brother. I love it.
They call it Pikachu. You little pussycat niggas, I'm gonna show you do. So I can show these little niggas, it's just the way we do. Chasing this money, it's just the way it is. Pushing the key every week or two. Life of a boss, that's where it's at. Mucho habla mierda, but no tan en nada. Facts, my nigga, I put in work. I've been moving my bag like a body in a hearse. I'm a diamond in a curse to these whack ass niggas. They want me to stop, but really I can stop, my nigga.
We coming through up in that spaceship. You cowards need to face it. Clients #1, but we the ones that's gonna take it. City's eyes now, I'm Neo, up in the matrix. Cooking, cutting the studio, you niggas sound basic. We come in on a mission, what's whipping up in the kitchen. Models all twisted, they bodies different positions. Y'all my competition, come on boys, stop tripping. We make hits, y'all trash, now listen.
I've been doing my thing and I'm fast lane now. I'm ahead of the game. Are you ready tonight? You don't know all the pain that I've been through. That's the reason we ain't the same. Are you ready tonight? Ponte palo tuyo, lo que decía mi vieja. Ahora estoy en otro nivel. Are you ready tonight? I've been doing my thing. Are you ready tonight? I've been moving that way. Are you ready tonight?
Accessible to the resources that you're naming, and I'm connected with them. So how do you guys feel about hosting spaces for brothers that's really in the streets, that's heavily impacted by moral corruption?
I'd be happy to. Like, let's connect. That's all I can say.
You're the conduit for that. You're the conduit for making sure that that happens today.
Absolutely.
Right? So you connect Joseph, others that are on the stage, and AC, who is actually, the enthusiast around all of this and keeps all of us. You know, I had to put up with him since he was a junior faculty member. Telling me this. All right? Before he even had tenure.
We should acknowledge Pacey. If everybody could just give a round of applause to Pacey. Listen, just like in Sydney, the same goes for Pacey and people like Alvin McFarlane. All it would take is for them not to care, and we wouldn't be here right now, and our scene wouldn't be popping the way it's been popping for the last 25 years. You know what I'm saying? So all the love to y'all.
And it hasn't come without a sacrifice. Because when you are in an academic environment, even with me as chancellor, there is a way that you come up in an academy. I am not a traditional chancellor or president. First of all, I am too handsome. I am the first to look like you in 400 years. Some of you have met my not being there. You should be happy for me. because most people serve 6 years. I had the honor of serving like 17 years. So the deal is, he's in a business school where they don't understand H, let alone hip hop. So he has to explain that all of the time to deans and to chancellors and to all of us just to be accredited for the work. So someone like that advocating, he was advocating for this stuff when I was at Northeastern. And I was dean of the African American Institute and all those kinds of things. What you see on the stage today is not, so when you do your inventory of who's helped who and how many thousands have been helped in this room, you look around this room and you talk to some of these folk, they will tell you there's a resume and there's a continuing activism around making sure you're okay. All right? So I couldn't sit here and not say that. All right? But finally, listen, we got you. Get to us. The word will be the word that's up here. Go ahead.
To the brother right there, I just wanted to answer your question real quick. Yes, there is an outlet that people can plug up into that's out here. So my name is Antoine Ramos. I go by the name of S7 Zeus, and I also hold the title of one being the Prince of New England, which was given to me by some OGs in New England because I sat under and was raised under some very significant OGs. Some is in this building right now, and some is no longer here with us. And I produced, many people made their beats, helped them manage graphics, marketing, helped them get on shows and everything. But I was born in Haverhill, Massachusetts, but I was raised in Sacramento, California, 12th Ave, Oak Park, feel me? And I came back 5 years ago to help build up New England hip hop. Now where I'm at today, 5 months ago, I started a platform called Bring the Heat Empire. This platform was, every Thursday I was throwing a showcase for America's military veterans in Haverhill, Massachusetts. And I quit 3 jobs. I was working 3 jobs and I quit 3 jobs because my heart was telling me to do something different. And I walked into this karaoke to perform and I walked out a whole showcase, right? The DJ walked up to me and said, "You want to make money in this music business?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Come back here every single Thursday and throw your showcase and I'm going to invite my people to come see your show. And you keep on doing this." So that's what I did, but he didn't know who he was talking to. So I came and I called up everybody in Boston, New Hampshire, Low, everybody that I could, Supreme Entertainment, everybody that I could. And they all started coming down every single Thursday to Haverhill, Massachusetts, showing love to your boy. And I appreciate everybody that came out and touched that platform. But from there, we started bringing out food and jazz and dancing. And now the platform is just growing and it's growing week by week by week. And then I started running into a bunch of artists who didn't have a BMI, who didn't have a name trademark, who didn't know about publishing, who didn't know about nothing. So then we started to build a cure for that. You feel me? So Bring the Heat Empire is a talent agency that will come to your show and scout you. And if I see you and I like you, after that it's we moving, baby. I'm gonna sit you down with some good people that's gonna help you dot your I's, cross your T's, so we make sure your paperwork right, your name, trademark, you got your publishing, you 100% own yourself, digitally distribution, all that, and then we're gonna pass you through to the studio. Then I brought a gentleman right here, Hall TV 2, on his own television network internationally. I'm surrounded by power players. And I wanna get y'all on. It ain't about me getting on. I went all through this country and toured and did my own thing independently, sold my own music independently, made my money independently. But now I'm starting to understand this internet game and how to apply my blueprint to someone else to make them blow and pop. So I promise y'all, the cure is right here. It's within us. We gotta acknowledge ourselves. We've been putting in work for a long time. If we wanna get to where they at, we gotta stop asking questions and we gotta figure this thing out with one another so we can take a step forward. So come get with me, and I wanna get with you and I wanna get with each and every one of y'all. If y'all playing politics out here and y'all got hatred towards someone else, that person that you hating on might be the key and the answer to your success. So you need to learn how to put that down and stand on business. You heard me? Let's go.
Check, mic check. It's A and B. Dr. A and B, African man born in Roxbury. Raised in Roxbury. Educated in Roxbury. You know what I'm saying? And I live hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So this is me, man. I got how many projects? I got over 30 projects from 2003 till now. Latest album, KING. All right, Known Intellectual Nubian God. Out now, AfricanManBorn.com and all major platforms. All right, perform many shows, including shows with Supreme Entertainment. Shout out to Supreme Entertainment. Shout out to Street Felons, Enterprise, Pretty Poison. One of the biggest reasons why I have somewhat of a name out here is with her, Supreme, Aphrodisia City with Ola, Keeve and D-Loops. Shout out to them. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have heard about me at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. That's what it is.
Yo, peace. What's the deal? This is Acrobatic, representing Boston, Massachusetts, Dorchester, Common Square to be specific, you know what I'm saying? Three's up for the whole hood. Good to see everybody today at the Mass Hip Hop Archive event. And I just want to say, the archive itself means so much and it's so important to me because this story is being preserved and passed on through generations. And that is the main way that we make sure that our history is preserved, our music is preserved, the history isn't revised, the history isn't whitewashed, and it's the real story from the real people who live it. And we're at a very, very critical point in time where we have all the generations that have been here since the beginning of hip hop being represented at the same time, which means that we have to talk to each other, we have to have events with each other, and we should see each other's performances and appreciate each other's artistic expression. So I stand for that. I've been teaching hip hop studies at UMass Boston now since 2014, and I'm just hoping that through my work there and my work as a musician who likes to make music with conscious topics, that I'll continue to reach people, and hopefully more people like me from Dorchester and from Boston and from underserved communities like those communities will be able to do what I did and go out and see the world and live their dreams through their music and their artistic expression, because there's a lot more people out there with the talent and the dreams to do that, and I hope y'all all achieve it, and I'm here to help however I can. Alright, Acrobatic, y'all. Peace.
So, just finished up our panel here. My name's Joseph Cooper. I am a special assistant to the Chancellor for Black Life at UMass Boston. Just finished up our panel here, celebrating the UMass Boston Hip Hop Archives, the great artists here in Boston, learning about the history of Boston hip hop, and particularly not just the breakdancing, the graffiti, the beatboxing, the MCing. All of it is a form of hip hop. We learned about how hip hop is a way of life, the various legends who helped build the culture here, how the culture is a byproduct of not only Bostonians, but of black people and people from diverse backgrounds, Latino people, white people, Asian people who contributed to the culture over the years. This is a wonderful event. The archives is very, very exciting. Documenting all of the great work that has been done over the years. In terms of my work and what I'll do to promote the archives moving forward, I'll continue to work closely with Casey Foster, Acrobatic, everyone to get more institutional support and community support for the archives. We're working on creating a hip-hop studies minor so that we'll have multiple courses at the university that are offered in perpetuity, and many of those courses will centralize on Boston's hip-hop culture and history. So what better way, building on the great work that Acrobatic's been doing for the past 10 years at the university, teaching hip-hop courses, to add more hip-hop courses and to make sure that every year hundreds of students are leaving the university with the in-depth knowledge as well as contributions to hip-hop culture here in Boston.
My name is Murray Foreman. I'm a professor of media studies at Northeastern University. I've been there for off and on since '94, straight through from 2000, and I've been doing hip-hop studies since 1994. Co-editor of one of the go-to textbooks. That's the Joint, the Hip Hop Studies Reader, and a number of other books on hip hop. And this kind of event is important for me, partly because it's a chance to talk about institutional collisions and collusion, collaborations, the way that the institution of universities need to have community connection, and the Hip Hop Archive really represents an opportunity as much as anything, both for hip hop and I think for academic institutions. Both can thrive, but they need to do it together. One of the things about today that I think is really great is that it was an inclusive discussion, that there were voices from the community well represented, and academic voices, I think, really came from a community-connected place as well. So this was not one of those town and gown type of traditional discussions, but it really was much more of a collaborative event. Also, it's a reminder that hip-hop is in the university. Hip-hop has been in the university for a long time. People are knowledgeable, people care about the culture, they're rigorous in the attention they give to it, and they're trying to build. And so I think this is another great thing about the archive in general, about today's event, is that it's a building event. This is just another piece in the puzzle, just like the promotion suggested.
Tuyo lo que decía mi vieja, ahora estoy en otro nivel. Are you ready or not? I've been doing my thing.